You know, the book is titled, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. So the question is, how do they connect? Keep it simple. Let's go. Welcome once again to another episode here at Pasión podcast. Thank you for joining us here on IGTV, as well as muchas gracias for those of you guys that are watching on YouTube as well. My name is Noan El Boricua, and this is a show all around cultura, all around faith y conexiones. Como siempre, I couldn't even say that word because I'm a little too excited today to bring you another chapter from this book that we have in store for you guys today. But overall, man, we know that Fuel Pasión Fridays is what it's all about. And my hope is that maybe you can share this with someone that may need to hear this. Maybe they need to be inspired. Maybe they need some additional tools, recursos, in order to be a better leader, just a better community, a better partner, whatever that looks like. I hope that maybe you can share that. Hey, shout out to one of the teachers that I know that actually shared one of my videos to their classes. Yo, muchas gracias. Thank you so much for that. Super awesome to be able to do that. Now, I want to get back into the book, and I'm going to show you guys here. That's the title. John Maxwell, we know, an amazing author, amazing guru of just building leaders. And, one moment. Yo, shout out to my Dodgers, no matter what happens. Shout out to my Dodgers. It's been a hard road, but I'm happy and I'm okay with what's been going on. More on that later. Back to this though. One of the things that I really like to understand is when we think about how many people communicate, but we think about the importance of being the one that can be able to connect. It's something that's really important. So a lot of times, I always ask myself, okay, look, Fuel Pasión podcast, I get it, but I think my question for you guys is always like, what are you so passionate about? Like, what do you want to change? ¿Qué quieres cambiar? ¿Qué tienes de gran pasión? And I think these two questions can be very tricky, but they get easier con una palabra, and that word is connectors. And I think for me, connectors son gente. They are people that, who have the power to be able to make exactly what the word means, to be able to make connections happen. Now, here's the thing, man. They take ideas and they connect them so then others can then better understand the program, the formula, the model, whatever that looks like. Connectors know how to simplify it. See, that was what I opened up with. Everyone communicates, but few connect. In other words, the chapter says it, they keep it simple. And how do they do that? Well, my hope is that they help new ideas grow by connecting a lot of times lo viejito y lo nuevo, by connecting a little bit of the old and connecting a little bit of the new. All these thoughts together, juntos, making the difficult work simple. For leaders, for anyone out there, professional, semi, getting there, students, whoever you are, I think you need to understand that if being a connector sounds like something that you're interested in, then I hope, one, you keep watching this video, but two, go back to this book, man. It's later in the chapters that you really get to understand the simplicity of what it is, because a lot of times people don't understand. Look, in today's age of just communication, of social media, of the internet, there is so much stuff coming at us that a lot of times we don't even know how to share that. Sometimes we just share the post and leave it at that. I'm guilty of that. But some of us actually learn to create it, simplify the message, and connect others to it. I had to bring the book out for you guys. There's a couple quotes that I'm going to read to you guys. One of them is the following. The measure of a great teacher isn't what he or she knows. It's what the students know. And again, I think this is so true when we think about this. A lot of times we don't understand that the connector always understands how to do the difficult work, to be able to simplify it and to be able to convey the message, to connect it to its audience. And look, I know that can be hard, but I got to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, quote, "To be simple is to be great." Again, I'm going to say that again. To be simple is to be great, end quote. That in itself is huge, right? Because I think one of the things that I love the author of what he said, John Maxwell, he says he was talking about this like illustration that goes on. And one of the things that they were talking about was how does one kind of complement the other? And that in the beginning, they were way off. Like one thought, oh, let me highlight all the hardest things in the book, while the other one was like, let me highlight something else that's completely different. And they were way off. It was like 90% off of not being on the same page. But it was interesting because the challenge that he gave his partner was the following. Look, you got to do 4 categories. Think about humor, something that will make people laugh. Think about heart, something that will make and captivate people's emotion. And then hope, something that will inspire people. And then last is help, something that will assist people in a very tangible way. And I think again, it says these 4 things could be simple, but they are effective. It said, armed with information, he goes on. It says, Charlie and I tried the process with again, to quote another book. You know what the crazy thing was with that approach? Is that now there were 50% instead of like 190 and the other 10. There were now 50%. The story goes on that eventually Charlie, the partner, he eventually was almost basically, quote unquote, reading his partner's mind on understanding how they were going to go forward with certain plans, ideas, and just highlighting within book to be able to take and apply these applications. You know, John Maxwell said when we think about how do we really become greater connectors in being storytellers and how to be able to share, he says there's 3 S's. And I need to share this with you guys. Again, this is my learnings from this book. This is why I love any kind of book recommendations you guys may have. But it's the 3 S's. Keep it simple. Say it slowly. Side note, that's really hard for me. And the last one, have a smile. Again, keep it simple. Say it slowly. Have a smile. And I think for us, it's understanding that, you know, the author says, look, if the first 2 don't work, at least you know the last one you have there that you can smile and hopefully someone at least can connect with you there. But the beauty of this and my hope is that we understand the following. All communicators get to the point before the listener asks, what's the point? So I just want to give you a few highlighted versions that I hope you guys can apply. And one of the first things is that in order to be an amazing connector, in understanding the mindset of keeping it simple, is talk to people and not at them. There's a difference with that. And I think for me, when we understand, like, it's something about, you know, greater complexity is never the answer in communication if we ever desire to connect. And I want to deep dive in this, but maybe that's for another day, for another video. But I think a lot of times we overthink too many ideas. We overthink this thought process of sometimes it goes over the people versus being able to talk to them. The other one that I want to give you guys is let's just get to the point. Yo, can I get an amen in there? How many times have we had people that don't get to the point? See, good communicators, good storytellers usually start asking the question, whatever your presentation is, what's the point? That should be your first thing as a professional, as a leader, as a community advocate, even as a family member, a parent. One of the biggest things is that if you're going to have these conversations, we need to ask ourselves, as the person who's telling or instructing or guiding, we should ask ourselves, what's the point? And I think the closer we get to answering that question, the better the audience, the better our team, the better, you know, the community will get to understand what we're trying to convey to them, to be able to understand the moment of where we're at. The next one is, and this is going to sound really, say it over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think for us, you know, again, I'm a quote. It says, good teachers know that the fundamental law, repetition, it's like the muscle memory of working out. The repetition is in that. And I think for us to be understanding, if you want to be an effective communicator, you have to be willing to emphasize a point. So that's true if and when you want to be an effective leader. It's understanding what John Maxwell is saying is, again, we need to understand that the second time, the third time that is continually recognized, that we know that our audience, our teammates, the players, they are all going to be bought into what's the ultimate goal. And the other one is, dígalo bien clarito. Right? Like, say it very clearly. Have an understanding so there won't be a misunderstanding. Charles Blair gives us that. And the last one that I just want to give you guys, and I think this is something that I've been working on lately, say less. I think for me, one of the biggest things was as we get older or as we get more experience in the practice of being communicators, but more importantly, let's stay on that word, connector, okay, is that we need to understand many people become protective of their time and their platform, of their opportunity to ever speak. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like, if you have someone that you know somebody that whenever maybe you were in class or you were at a work presentation, you knew that they will say however much they want to say, versus understanding the importance of respecting the next person's idea and thought process to be able to go up and share as well. I've known many like that. And I think the beauty of this, we need to understand is, and I'm a quote that says, take a moment and think about all the teachers, the speakers, the preachers, the politicians, and the leaders that you've listened over the years. Here's the questions that he asked. What percentage of time have you come away from the session thinking, I sure wish he had spoken longer? Or that was just too short. He goes on, he says, unfortunately, more than 90% of the time, people wear out their welcome when they communicate. See, to kind of close this thought process out, we need to remember that in the practice of storytelling, in the practice of being a connector, many times saying less to be able to drive the point right away. Yo, I'm still a rookie after so many months. My SD card was full. Total fail. At the time of this recording, I didn't get a chance to really know exactly where it stopped. But my hope, I know I was sharing about the story of the Queen Mary, to be able to say less and to really understand the importance on all level. But my hope, I hope you can be able to take your communication to the next level. My hope is that you can be able to connect with the people that you desire to connect with. And I think for me, before we close this video out, I want to say thank you, man. Hopefully you guys can subscribe, hit a like, share it again. Check it out at fuelpasionpodcast.com for just future things, catching up on our podcast. I did take a break. I wanted to give everyone some rest. You guys have been amazing with just sharing and listening to all of our latest stuff that we have going on. But I kind of want to close with these final thoughts. Connecting with others is an easy way to be able to keep your community, your customers, and any potential future business muy feliz, very happy. Here at Fuel Pasión Podcast, the key to any successful thing that we do here has always been, and I say we because I know one day there's going to be a team of us at Fuel Pasión. My biggest thing is that we want to keep it simple, we want to keep it clear, and we want to be very straightforward for everyone that's involved. And I think that's why for me personally, as a storyteller and as a connector, I work hard every single day just to be able to do that. How can I translate complicated ideas into something that anyone can understand very quickly and that can be able to adapt to it and then be able to share it? Look, one of the greatest moments that I had a chance was to be able to share, again, for all my faith-based, pastors and leaders and Christians and anyone else, right, that believes in God. I one time had the opportunity to share with students of how a simple pair of dirty shoes with some solution to clean the shoes was like a temporary fix. But then I showed them that an ultimate fix could be like that example that Jesus did on the Calvary of cross by doing an ultimate sacrifice. That was a one and never again you have to worry about cleansing the shoes again. And I showed this before and after of like an old pair of shoes and a brand new pair of shoes, and it connected. It was so simple. I didn't get into some theological debate. I kept it simple. See, Jesus is the greatest storyteller of all time. Many of my guests have said that are faith-based. We say that. Like, he's the greatest storyteller. He knew how to understand his audience, fishermen, people of labor, people of the Pharisees of law, men of law. He knew who his audience was. Another one would be the Apostle Paul, but that's another day. But what I love about Jesus is that he simplified it. He understood his audience. He shared stories and parables. So for me, if you need help connecting with others in a meaningful way, let me know. Hit me up, DM me, send me a message. I'm always happy to be able to share some insights on how I connect with others to be able to present the ultimate ideas that maybe you want to present as an individual or as a bigger contributor to a business. I'm always here to be able to lend the expertise that I've learned throughout my years. And the best way is what we talk about, conexiones. We need to learn to connect. And I hope that you guys do. Como siempre, como mi abuelita dice, que Dios te bendiga.